All right. All right. Hey, everybody. Yeehaw! Good evening. It's time for the Trump Assassination Files coming at you live from Franklin County, Virginia, where we got NASCAR rolling into town this week with Martinsville Speedway coming down. Speaking of coming down, just today ranged, and hey, my brother's going to come down and stay a while, so that'll be great to have my brother here. Anyway, I hope y'all are doing great. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. We're live on Facebook, on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. So come on down and join us, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Good evening, everybody. I hope y'all are having a great day. God bless you. Oh man, I'm telling you. So, hey Nikki. Hey Nikki, how you doing, my friend? I need to check this other banner, so you'll have to hold on a second as I here, let me do wait a minute. Where am I at? Hey, I got lost in my clips and my overlays, and it's minimal there. That doesn't stick out there too far, does it? No, it doesn't. Bubble? Bubble. Yeah, we'll go with the soft edges. Anyway, I hope y'all are having a great day. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, good evening. Wow. Whoops. So, oh, yeah, man, I'm telling you, I got my table set up. I got everything set up. I even got the network cable cord out to the outside studio. So hopefully tomorrow morning I'm going to be really outside of the house streaming. Anyway, so I hope y'all are doing well. God bless you. Thanks for coming down and joining me. So remember to change the world today in this time of universal deceit. You do make the difference. Oh, heavens. I didn't even open up my show notes that I have for these Trump assassination files tonight. All kinds of breaking news and information just in the last 2 or 3 days. Okay. It really is busting wide open as news and information is just coming out faster than anybody can keep up with it, in all honesty. Okay. Let's see. Of course, where should we start in these Trump assassination files? Where should we start them at? Let's see. We'll start with the revelation that just came out yesterday, and more information today, that the White House under Joseph R. Biden had a special access group going on relating to the Mar-a-Lago raid, and the FBI, the Department of Justice, and the White House were coordinating the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Remember, the raid on Mar-a-Lago happened after the raid, and the documents were found on Joe Biden's office at the Penn Center or whatever it is in DC. And then more boxes found 2 or 3 other locations, including some that the evidence had come out that the entire Biden family was looking through these documents, that some of them were classified. They were looking through these documents for a specific paper. Imagine that. So Biden knew all this. So what do? They set up a sting on Donald Trump, and make Donald Trump and his uh, classified material possession a big issue and a crime, even though it's nothing. And all of this to cover up for Joe Biden. This is where the cover up becomes bigger than the crime. If Joe Biden had said, "Oh, yeah, I had a few documents here and there, we got them cleaned up, no problem." Donald Trump did the same thing. It's all good. No, it's no big deal. Barack Obama did it. Hillary Clinton did it. I mean, all these other government officials have done this shit. And what has happened? No. We have to go full bore on Donald Trump. They have to make sure that he doesn't get elected again. Joe Biden just recently came out and said that, literally using the federal government to interfere with the civil liberties of Donald J. Trump again and again and again and again. And I'm going to have some, I gotta get some, make some of these overlays, animated GIF overlays, and we'll see what falls out of the sky, so to speak, because you never know what might happen. Anyways, I hope y'all are doing well. God bless you. Oh man, I'm telling you, it is sheer crazy what is going on today. Of course, Donald Trump under indictment, 34 charges from the was it Manhattan District Attorney's Office with Alvin Bragg. Now, Alvin Bragg had been sued by the Judiciary Committee, the U.S. House Judiciary Committee, and has said and has been subpoenaed by them, and now has turned in federal court, has now sued the Jim Jordan and the Republicans over the investigation of him and his basically investigation of Donald Trump. Okay. On the post-millennial, Hannah Nightingale writing, covering Washington, D.C. According to the Hill, Bragg claimed that the investigation is a transparent campaign to intimidate and attack his office's work. It's clear that his office have a transparent campaign to get Donald Trump, even if they have to make up a crime that is past the statute of limitations. Said first Jim Jordan said first they indict the president for no crime. Then they sued to block congressional oversight. When we ask questions about federal funds, they say they used to do it. Well, one of the responses that the DA's office said is we did not use any federal funds. Where this idea that federal funds is coming from, I don't know. Anyway, the former prosecutor, what's his name? Damn it. That I guess wrote a book, and others are asked to another employee to hand over personal emails detailing Bragg's hiring process. The Congress has no power to supervise state criminal prosecutions, nor does Congress have the power to serve subpoenas for the personal aggrandizement of the investigators or punish those investigated, Bragg's office states. At the same time, Bragg's office throws out crime after serious assaults and batteries and serious crime after crime after crime. Yes, but we must get Donald Trump at all costs. What we do know is this is a coordinated attack. It has been the longest sustained coordinated attack on a politician that I can remember. Ever since Donald Trump said, I'm running for president of the United States of America, he has become a target of the New World Order, the bureaucratic deep state uniparty that has taken over the United States of America. These are the facts. The facts that we see them today, in all honesty. So where do I want to go from here? Because I have several ways I could take this show. But you know what I want to take this show is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has announced that he's running for president against Joe Biden. Kennedy is a outsider in the Democrat Party, a real outsider, not a Bernie Sanders on the knees socialist, okay? Not a person who their friend and colleague Seth Rich gets murdered by the DNC and Bernie sits quietly about it because they told him he would die in a wreck and his wife would be a widow if she wasn't with him. More than likely. I suspect those are the things that happened. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr., it is my belief that Donald Trump must leave the Republican Party establishment. He cannot even pick an outsider like Carrie Lake. Certainly a never Ron DeSantis. It's my personal opinion, and I have said this multiple times before, that I believe the best running mate for Trump to bring a uni-party, bring a third-party coalition together would be Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Donald Trump. If you want to scare the shit out of the establishment class, that's what you got to do. That's what you must do to find the truth of what's going on. Now, as I said, I like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Because of his vaccine status or his stance on the vaccine. Okay. And this man he does tell the truth. And that's the problem that the media, that the government minders and everybody else cannot stand. It's crazy. Let me get this file shared. Let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. This is the one. Yeah, that's it. Right there. Okay. Anyway, hey, thank you. Thank you, Sugol. Yeah, thank you, man. And hey, good evening, Darren. Good evening, Darren. I hope you're doing well. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Anyway, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Okay. Yeah. Here's what he had to say in this clip.
Then in 2001, in June, the CIA sponsors the first of its pandemic simulations. It simulates a biological attack on Washington, D.C. by Saddam Hussein. This is in June 2001. That simulation got international press, and a lot of the CIA people, like Judith Miller from the New York Times, was promoting it, going around doing all the talk shows. It triggered 2 Senate hearings, one by Joe Biden's committee. And that hearing was in September 2001. What happened in September 2001? The 9/11. So that hearing was going on during 9/11. As soon as 9/11 happened, the neocons, which were working on all this stuff with the CIA, pulled out the Patriot Act, a 350-page statute from a shelf where it had been waiting for a while. And in 1 week said, we want to pass this in a week. There's only one member of Congress who read it, which was Dennis Kucinich. And he went crazy and said, you have no idea this is the end of American democracy if you do this. It allows the CIA to spy on Americans. One of the things the Patriot Act did is it did not get rid of the Geneva Convention or the Bioweapons Treaty, but it said no federal official can be prosecuted for violating those 2 statutes. So it reopened the bioweapons arms race globally. And when a week after, when the Patriot Act was being debated and it was being held up by 2 senators, there was an anthrax attack on the US Capitol. It was blamed on Saddam Hussein, and the neocons all said, see, we were right in the pandemic simulation, Saddam Hussein attacked us. And we used that as a justification to go to war against Saddam Hussein. And within 2 days, we passed the Patriot Act. Who got the anthrax? 2 Senate offices, Tom Daschle and Patrick Leahy, the 2 senators who were blocking the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
The FBI did a 1-year investigation. They said this anthrax was unique. It was Ames anthrax, and there's only one place in the world it could have come from, Fort Detrick, the CIA lab.
So, yeah, the anthrax attack that will help ensure the passage of the Patriot Act. That anthrax came from Fort Detrick, Maryland. CIA headquarters shit. Yeah, well, that's just fucked up. That's just some really that's just some really bad stuff, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, so, as I said, I believe that Trump, if he really wanted to break the Republican Party and just blow the mind out of the Democrat Party, and screw the uni-party deep state, Robert Kennedy Jr. is your guy. If you ask me, but that's just me. Okay. Anyway, so let's get over to the American Reichstag. That's right, of January the 6th, 2021, when the American government pulled a public relations propaganda coup in an attempt to neutralize MAGA and Donald Trump. A riot, and not even a real not an insurrection, but a riot, agitated and encouraged essentially by police at the Capitol Police and others. And now some of the truth that the House has changed hands, some more of the truth is coming out. The truth is that in the crowd on January 6th, there were bunches of people, hundreds, I believe, that were literally government agent provocateurs or government agents. And then you had the Antifa, agent, Palestine agents that had dressed up. I mean, they say that never happened. It didn't, but hell, John fucking Sullivan was right there with a mega hat on. And it doesn't happen. Yeah. More just honky horse shit. Okay. Really, more honky horse shit. Let me see back here and see if this picture, yeah. See these guys in this picture right here, okay? That they're feds, okay? Capitol Police. You have to understand that when the Proud Boys rolled into Washington, D.C., all but 5 members, all but 5 of the 19, 15, 19 or plus or more, minus whatever, of so-called Proud Boys were fucking government informants. There were only 5 patsies, Patsy Proud Boys. Yeah. I mean, and all the rest of their buddies were all fucking informants and feds. In other words, of at least 15 Proud Boys, we now know that at least 10 of them were feds and only 5 were actually, crazy idiots or dumbasses, or take your picks. Anyway, the picture reportedly showed pro-Trump MAGA patriots on January the 6th, 2021. Really. It's really that sheer crazy of what we are seeing and what we know that has happened. So they're literally trying to identify these people, and they say they can, but in the Proud Boys case, there's 10 of the people that were with the other 5. They're not being charged, and they're informants for the feds. So how many other groups were there that were essentially compromised by COINTELPRO 6.0, counterintelligence, political opposition, deconstruction is what they're doing. This is the same fucking shit that they ran in the 70s at the war protesters and the hippies. They're essentially running the same counterintelligence political opposition program 6.0 to and on the American people. And you want to talk about fucking political and election interference? No fucking shit. The interference of what our government has been doing is, yeah. All right, Bill Blair is going to put some epoxy. He's got some old sawed boards. It's a guy on Twitter, and he's making a table. And he's going to kind of, square up the boards and then kind of put the boards together. And, they're like from 1860 some saw marks on them when they were originally made. You don't want to sand that shit off. You want to put epoxy over it, man. Yeah. God bless the guys, man. I'm telling you, we are living in trying times, man. I'm telling you. What else we got going on here? Oh, here's some. Oh, look, some old news that I guess they think it should be new news, but to me and you and everybody else here on the Trump assassination files, what do we know? We know it's old news because here's the list of the people and the plotters and the names of many of the different things and the things that they did. Yeah, those are all Trump assassination file cards. Like here, the first one. Oh, this one has to do with the operations that we know that were run against Trump and his team. The mid-year exam, the exam of Hillary Clinton's um, um, server that she kept by her toilet. That was there was no intent there, even though that's no part of the statue. In fact, there's plenty of sailors and soldiers and others and other government officials that will tell you, look, intent doesn't matter. If you took a picture of something by accident and somebody saw it and you're fucked, okay? You're not Hillary Clinton, you're fucked. You're going to prison. That's the deal, okay? We have the insurance policy group. That's right, the insurance policy group, ladies and gentlemen. That was one of those Pete Stroke and Lisa Page, James Comey, and what was the several other people. I'll remember their names as I go through this stack, I promise. Crossfire Hurricane, the investigation of Trump by the FBI. Did you know there was a CIA side of Crossfire Hurricane? Most people don't even want to speak about that. Or what about the Obama-Trump task force? That was the official open air government response to the weaponization of the government by the Obama administration against Trump. That's basically what that was. You have Operation Typhoon and Operation Razor, which were what? Which were the individual FBI operations against General Flynn and George Papadopoulos. Remember, Carter Page got the Pfizer warrant and the double tap. Remember, anybody that Carter Page talked to, they tapped their phone. Okay? So remember the double tap. They just didn't tap the phone of Carter Page. They tapped the phone of every person Carter Page talked to. And then probably some that Carter Page friends talked to that they thought, oh, God, we got to look up this asshole skirt. Yeah. I mean, really, our government is so fucked up. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, the insurance policy group, Andy McCabe, James Comey, Pete Strazak, and Lisa Page. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Remember, during this time, the congressional retards in Congress that were briefed about the investigation into Donald Trump and Trump-Russia collusion. Dirty Harry Reid, bitch Mitch McConnell. Yes, Dianne Feinstein. Right there's two Chinese fucking spies. Yeah, McConnell and Feinstein. And Richard Burr. Jesus fucking Christ. Boy, they got some real fucking losers on this one. No wonder they call it a gang of 8. It's retard time. Oh, yeah, it is. It's Paul Ryan. Yes, Paul Ryan. Remember Paul Ryan, the speaker of the senator, lead senator at the time? Yeah, remember Paul Ryan? I think he was a senator or a House member. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I couldn't tell where Paul Ryan's neck and Barack Obama's butt cheek started because every time I looked, Paul Ryan had his head stuck up Barack's ass trying to get a Klingon, I guess. I don't know. Oh, yeah. And fucking Nancy fucking Pelosi. Okay. And Adam shit for brains and Devin Nunes. Okay. Look, there's only one person on the whole fucking gang of 8 that's even worth a fuck. That's even worth a shit. And that's Devin Nunes. The rest of them are deep state scum sucking, cock sucking assholes. Man, they are some dirty, dirty fucks. And they were briefed. They were briefed by John O. Brennan between 11th of August and the 6th of September about the Trump-Russia collusion. In other words, the Steele dossier that had been planted by Christopher Steele, a Democrat and Hillary Clinton agent. And they used backdoor information to make to have a saturation media campaign come out about Trump and Russia collusion. And they found all of the petty parasites that they could find in the media: ABC, NBC, CBS, fake Fox News even joined in on the orgy to get Trump. The government weaponized the DOJ, brought forth a special counsel. And because all the fucking bastards in Washington are so corrupt and crooked, they can't believe that they spent $40 million on a special counsel for Sideshow Bob the Turd and couldn't even get a Charmin. Couldn't even find the fucking Charmin. Andrew Weissman, you're a chicken shit lawyer because evidently Alvin Bragg is doing something that not even you could do. Yeah. Hey, that's some shit. Hey, happy Greg. Hey, Greg. Hey, howdy, Greg. How you doing there, my friend? Howdy, howdy. Hey, howdy, howdy. Oh, man, howdy, howdy. Hey, howdy, everybody. Oh, man, I'm telling you, man, it's wow. It's just fucking nuts out here. The way they think they can just screw Trump and get away with it, and and they have so far. They have committed literally a political coup against Trump. And that fucking turd right there, Hillary fucking Clinton, John Durham. I don't know if John Durham's still in cover-up mode, but if they haven't subpoenaed the records from Michael Sussman and the Perkins Cooley FBI computer, it's clearly just a cover up, right? It's unfortunate, but it's wow, it's a bummer. I just can't believe that with the shit they got going on. And I was laughing about this article. They recently unveiled a text message that shows how Hillary Clinton's campaign lawyer, Michael Sussman, lied to the FBI, not working on behalf of any client, but just delivering, anti-Trump research. Yeah. Anyway, Durham federal former prosecutor appointed to investigate Trump Russia collusion. It should be the Trump Russia coup. It should be the Obama Clinton attempted coup. That's what they should really call it. Anyway, we know that the Steele dossier was basically a joint venture between all the parties under and using the legal and political cover to hide their conspiracy. That's why I say, RICO must be used against the Democrat and Republican parties because they have essentially overthrown the government and are doing their own bidding today. Durham also unearthed a text message showing that Hillary Clinton campaign lawyer Sussman lied to the FBI. Well, look, we're talking about lawyers. With most lawyers, if their lips are moving, they're lying. Okay. And if they're not lying, they're running the fine razor edge of some legal line, usually, unless they have a hammer, a big ass lawfare hammer of Thor, and whatever they use, they just smash. I guess it's that thing that like they call standing. The judges like to say, "Oh, you don't have any standing, you can't sue," or you don't. There's been no any. It's just don't get into judges, okay? Anyway, Sussman, the existence of a text message between FBI General Counsel James Baker and Michael Sussman revealed in a court filing late Monday night by Durham's team said prosecutors said they intend to show Sussman gave the false story to the FBI and later then told the truth about working on behalf of the Clinton campaign when he testified in front of Congress. But listen, all these people knew what was going on. Comey, the FBI, the DOJ, and all these people that had Trump derangement syndrome and had to get Trump at any cost. They threw away the Constitution. They threw away the rule of law. They violated the civil rights of Trump and shit on his election and essentially tried to handcuff him. The truth is, Nancy Pelosi should be led out of the Capitol building in handcuffs. The things that they did to Donald Trump that they knew were patently false and was a lie. That's the problem today with our politicians. They just can't use the political system and the rule of law against you. They have to lie through their teeth. They have to lie again and again and again to gain your cooperation or to smear their opponents. It really is, well, it's a conspiracy. Okay. We know and understand that the Clinton campaign organized the Steele dossier and paid a foreign national to come and interfere with our elections and use their spycraft and their contacts within the intelligence services to bolster and to solidify the alleged claims that they were making. And if you think that this is just the one investigation against Trump in the early parts of this, well, you should back up and rethink your strategy. And you should know and understand that in 2016, research had long ended. And what was unfolding was a smear campaign and a campaign to inject Russian related material or people or whatever and inject it into the Trump campaign. That's why George Papadopoulos was led by Joseph Mifsud and the CIA over at Link University in Rome. Those are CIA stations. Please understand. That's why they did a lot of this shit in London, because it wasn't on the Americans' ground, but it was within the Five Lying Fucking Eyes kingdom. Okay? You have to understand this Klaus Schwab New World Order. It already has its intelligence system, and it is the Five Eyes. And if you think it's just the Five Eyes, you better understand there's 180 countries that have signed on to the Five Eyes spy deal treaty. Now they might not have top level administrator position like the US, but they get feedback and they get information. So they attach to effectively the intelligence unit of the New World Order. That's what the Five Eyes is. It should be smashed to hell and back the same way with the CIA. The same way, with the elites in Davos, the Council on Foreign Relations. These are organized terrorist groups that use political bribery and other means to get their ways. And, they must be destroyed because they are as much an enemy as China is. Okay. They're probably more of an enemy because these folks have been the conduit to shift the industrialized America over to China. They needed a new plantation because Americans said, hell no, you can't pollute our land. You can't treat our children like slaves, and you're not going to work us to death. And they said, fine, whatever. We'll go and find a country where we can recreate the old Democrat South, and we can have Love Canal from New York, and we can have our slaves, and we can love our prophets too. That's essentially what you have going on today. It's more crazy on crazy. So, listen, this is the never-ending crime spree by the scumbags and by the bastards that are how should we say it, that believe that they have you under control, and that they literally are using you. An appeals court calls into question hundreds of January 6th prosecutions as the video evidence and the Brady exculpatory evidence that should have been turned over, it has not been turned over to defendants. Okay. Several hundred cases where defendants were charged with obstructing an official proceeding. For the time being, there's listen, the not they say they acted with corrupt intent by invading the Capitol during an official proceeding. If the doors were open and people just walked in, okay, they did not act in quote unquote corrupt intent. See, and that's the thing. The only people that really acted with corrupt intent are the first people that were literally breaking the doors, trying and windows and stuff to try to get in. Yeah. We were been told again and again by Democrats and the January 6th committee that the everybody went in there acted with a corrupt intent. That just making that statement, there is no real proof of people acting in corrupt intent. If the door was open, somebody walked in, walked around, looked out for a few minutes, and then walked back out, what corrupt intent? There is none. It's not any obstruction. It's not anything. It might be trespassing. And remember, between the Capitol and all the riots in 2020 across Washington, D.C., what they did, they literally let everybody off and sent them home and said, bye-bye. It's no problem. Yeah. Oh, man, I'm telling you, it's, wow. It's crazy stuff, right? Let's see. Federal Election Commission records show the judge in the Trump case appears to be a Biden donor. But then again, it's not large amounts, and everybody has a right. But you just can't you just can't, how should I say it? You just can't be a biased bastard when you're sitting on the bench. Okay? And the truth is, not the investigators today, the prosecutors, and the judges all lean liberal, most places in big cities. So basically, in big cities, you can get away with crimes you can't get away with anywhere else. So, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Newt Gingrich believes that the Trump indictment will pave his way to come back to the Oval Office. Now, Democrats are saying, wait, we got another indictment. We're going to have another indictment in Georgia where, it's alleged that Trump had allegedly pressured to find votes or whatever. That these the problem is these biased and corrupted prosecutors that have essentially let everybody and their brother out on the street to do more crime are literally, targeting Trump. Okay. Literally targeting Trump. So, the Gingrich believes, said that they will be a major boost to his bid to return to the White House. Well, I don't know about that. I'm not going to lie. Okay. It is always a smear from, from the 6 stages of corrupted media propaganda, the 6 corporate machines. They all are lying in unison about Trump. I'm telling you, it's going to have a psychological effect. And what they can't believe, what's really fucking their brain up And what is really blowing them out, you know what's really doing it? You want to know? It's funny as hell to me. They have literally put together this anti-Trump propaganda program that's designed to create a line of thought that of hate of Trump. If you already have a disposition against Trump, this will literally put it on steroids. Okay. They have been pumping that for more than 8 years. And they still yet cannot break through the wall. It's like sending your teenager, to college for 4 years, and they come back and you say, what the hell? And they come back screaming and gonna kill and take care of the matriarchy, and they big feminists now. I mean, literally, they come back with green hair, and everybody wonders what the fuck happened. Well, that's the immersion indoctrination. And see, this is why the media does what it does. This is why you see the media swarm, and it'll be the same lie, big fucking lie everywhere. Like Trump and Vladimir Putin, they're best buddies. We know that's a lie, but it's got to be pushed because of Hillary Clinton, the Democrat Party, and everything else. We live in this weird ass Truman Show type thing, right? Now, Trump had raised 11 million or more off of the indictment. So, yeah. I got a little clip here. I got to take a break for a minute. I'm sorry, but I got a little clip here that can play. Oh, maybe I can't. No, I can't play that. Well, at least not right now. If I kicked the stream out of YouTube, I could, because YouTube will censor anything that has to do with, that Chinese disease thing. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's some bunk shit, that's my belief. My God, so we're coming up, won't be too long. They're going to have the Democrat National Committee this year in Chicago. That's right, the Windy City, where the bullets are flying around faster than the breeze. Yes, in Chicago, where what's the stats stand at right now as of today? 133 people shot and killed, 491 shot and wounded, with 624 total shot, 141 homicides for the year to date. Yeah. A person is shot every 3 hours and 52 minutes in Chicago. A person is murdered every 17 hours and 1 minute. Meanwhile, I guess some of the most telling news about Chicago is that this year, 17 people have shot themselves in the ass. 11 people have shot themselves in their junk. Mama, I just shot my penis off. Yeah. And another 7 people have been shot taking a selfie of themselves. Yeah, so be aware and be careful of when you're in the windy city of Chicago. Yeah. Anyway, remember the 1968, I believe, 1968 Democrat National Committee or Democrat National Convention, excuse me, where 10,000 people were rioting outside of the convention. 10,000 people, and more than 1,000 were FBI agents. Just a few weeks ago, Democrats mourned and celebrated the death, or celebrated, whatever you want to call it, remembrance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The deep state and the FBI, they had to get rid of him. Why? Well, moral character. Yeah. You can't have corruption if you lead with moral character. So the FBI paid somebody to murder him and then help that person escape multiple times. And then while MLK was on the this is a good epithet of our government, okay? While Martin Luther King Jr. was going in emergency surgery in an attempt to save his life, he was still alive. I believe it was Parkland Hospital. And what happened? A doctor with 2 FBI agents came in the middle of the operation and stopped the operation and told everybody that they had to leave, that they were go out the door. The last person to go out the door, a nurse, says as she turned and looked, they were smothering Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to death, shooting him by the FBI. He survived. So they had to smother him to death in the hospital. Now, why the FBI was not torn apart and torn asunder when they had all that going down, I don't know. You know, and I know that this should be, right? I mean, that shit's wrong. It's sheer crazy. What else we got going on here? Governor Katie Hobbs vetoed a bipartisan ballot signature verification bill that contained the same policies that she recommended and wrote into the bill. Katie Hobbs knows that the only way that Democrats can win if they use mail-in ballots and they turn the optical readers for the matching of the signatures into 4 little blind pigs. Yeah. Little blind pigs. Essentially they took a really great algorithm and they reduced it down to 10%. If it had a 10% match, it was considered to have a high confidence signature. That is an absolute disgrace. It really is. It really is. One of the people that were subpoenaed in New York was the former Hillary Clinton lawyer, Mark Pomerantz. He's subpoenaed him for a deposition, as he wrote a book about his attempts to take down Donald Trump, and essentially was trying to lay out a public roadmap for Fat Alvin. Why, and is that going to work and hold water? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Okay, I really can't say if this is gonna work. Okay, in some places, the National Institutes of a government, they want to have ballot on demand. In other words, they want to have you be able to, the voter, log in to a website, print out a ballot, sign it, and mail it in. I watch this technology like at the NASCAR races and stuff, where, I mean, you can literally print or reprint as many of those tickets as you want once you print them out. You can make as many copies. If there's no way, see, and here's the problem with our voting system on a mail-in ballot. If there is no way to ensure that that person, whoever sent it in, isn't voting again, and that ballot isn't just thrown in a massive pile of with other ballots that can't be separated later, that's a problem. And it's my belief that Eric, ERIC, and other Democrat organizations are creating ghost voters that are people that haven't voted from a specific address, and then they pick up that vote. They actually create a ballot in that person's name, and somebody signs it as best they can and mails it in, and it gets counted. See, and this is the problem. If they are sending mail-in ballots, 4, 5, or 6 to one address because the people had previously lived there, it certainly is believable that they actually sent those people a ballot at every address that they had literally written or saved as an address within their voter registration documents. If they had moved, they probably got a new one at the new house along with another one. And if it's from a different jurisdiction, a different county, or different something, there are so many ways to overlap this stuff and to slide ballots and stuff in right in the middle of all these elections, and nobody will know. It's not an accident that some guy from Pennsylvania drove a massive box truck of ballots from New York into Pennsylvania for the last election, or I should say for the 2020 election. Okay. It's not a fucking accident. It's not an accident that the Georgia runoff race, that ballots were sent from Arizona to Georgia, not 1 or 2 or 3, but 3 tons or more of these Georgia runoff ballots. What are Georgia runoff ballots doing? Printed, bundled, and sent through the United Parcel Service to be shipped on the United States Postal Service to then be air freighted through United Parcel Service to Indianapolis the night of December 1st into December 2nd. I guess it would have really happened on the early morning of December the 2nd, 2020, for the Georgia runoff race. Okay. Now, if they indict Trump in Georgia, I'm going down there. I have my car fixed by then. I'm going down there. Yeah, Biden is planning to run for reelection because he believes that like most others believed in the past, that running for election will protect you from indictment and investigation, allowing you to run out the statute of limitations clock. Joe Biden should be under indictment right now, but he's not, because the federal government will not act against the president, even if he is a communist spy. There, there is no doubt. There is no doubt, man. So, yeah, sheer crazy, sheer idiocracy. But anyway, everybody's having fun with the Bud Light stuff, aren't they? Yeah, and they lost what, $5 billion. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, pretty sad stuff, man. I'm telling you. Anyways, I hope y'all are having a great day. God bless you. What other news information I got going on here? Well, let's just scroll toward the top and then we'll go down. Yeah, of course, as I said earlier, the FBI now admits that there were at least 40 undercover agents in the crowds on January the 6th. Remember, 10 of those agents were just with the Proud Boys. And most all of those agents were wearing gear that suggested that they were in for overthrowing the government. Yeah. Crazy, crazy stuff. Last week, Nancy Pelosi on a stage with Hillary Clinton shrieked and tried to hide after she called Hillary Clinton president. I guess that must really bite Hillary every time somebody says President Hillary Clinton. Not. Well, anyway. Yes, the fake news media and is curated by the deep state. And there is a cycle of spin that you get. And the truth is, once it becomes so obvious, that is the truth. Okay? Once the truth becomes obvious, the New York Times, the Washington Post, they all start and admit their lies. But they just admit it enough to where they can get by, and they don't literally have to repent. They don't have to admit that they made a serious mistake, and they lied for Trump about Trump for years. Oh, no, 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 no. They could never do that. Yeah. Meanwhile, something that we didn't know, right? That politics drives priorities in the schools. That's right. If you look at diversity and the transsexualization of education, you look at globalization, and what will you see? You'll see people steeped in politics. And that's why you have to stop the indoctrination education that is shoved down the throats of people today. It really, really is. Yeah. Anyway. So what else we got going on here? Oh yeah. Hey, remember when the Biden administration said that we were just joking when we were talking about, your gas stove and your light bulbs, and we're going to change all that stuff around. They weren't joking. It wasn't like an exploratory thing. The Biden administration is moving forward with the incandescent light bulb ban, and it is literally coming within weeks. Also, remember, Joe Biden has said that they weren't going to, that at first they said they were looking at changing. They wanted to change washers and dryers and ovens and gas stoves and everything. So they're going to implement a ban on commonly used light bulbs. Yeah. Now remember, Democrats said they're about freedom. They're about freedom, but you can only shit in a half a gallon toilet flusher, or a 1 gallon toilet, or a low flow, shower head, or some stupid shit. No. Democrats say they love freedom. They love freedom, but you have to live by what they consider freedom to be. And if you pay for that water, you pay for that electricity, you generate that water, or generate that electricity, pump that water out of the ground. You grow that food, you're allowed to waste it and use it as you want and wish. The government shouldn't be telling you what to do and how to fucking do it, how to heat your food. These they will never stop. Literally, they will never stop reinventing products for you to buy, because that's what the new Green Deal is really all about. It's about you buying products from a new manufacturer, from somebody else. Yeah. Sheer crazy. Well, I tell you, the media today, I'm not very I don't have a lot of faith in them. Okay. You got the New York Times. The New York Times claims to be, the paper of record, accurate and all this other stuff. And truthfully, the New York Times is just a psychological propaganda operation. And they're a bunch of lying fucktards, if you ask me. How do we know that they're liars? How long did they pump Russia collusion when they knew better? They know that Trump did not call neo-Nazis fine people at Charlottesville. That's the truth. They knew Jussie Smollett was just a hate crime hoax. They knew that the Governor Whitmer kidnapping plot was essentially born out of and produced by the FBI. The Kavanaugh rape, the Trump PP tape, COVID lab leak was a conspiracy theory. Remember that, New York Times? Remember when they said that border agents whipped migrants, the New York Times, and that was a lie. They also said Trump saved nuclear secrets at Mar-a-Lago. That's right. The toilet paper of record. The Steele dossier. Russian bounties on U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan, another lie. Trump said drinking bleach could fight COVID. That was a lie. Muslim travel ban, remember, that was a lie. Is there anything that Build Back Better will pay for itself? Is there anything they don't lie? Trump even the media even claimed that Trump overfed his koi fish in Japan. Oh my God, they feed too much fish food to that little fish. Jesus. I mean, liberals, Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation, right? Yeah, don't forget, you can go buy Hunter Biden's paintings for $80,000. That's right, for $80,000. Shit. You can buy a politician for a lot less than that. Really, you can. Cloth masks prevent COVID. Yeah, remember that COVID vaccine data that the CDC said? Rochelle Lewinsky said, if you get your shot, you can't catch it, and then she caught it after she had 3 or 4 shots. I mean, if it's a shot and it works, isn't one sufficient? Yeah, I mean, really. It goes on and on. January 6th was an insurrection. Officer Sicknick was murdered by protesters on January 6th. We know that was a lie. You can see him walking around. Trump overpowered Secret Service for the wheel of the beast. That's right, because he had to go back to the Capitol. Yeah, remember that? The mostly peaceful protesters. Hey, remember all that good stuff? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. The New York Times is also deeply invested into the 1619 project. Yeah, they call it real history. I think I would hold off on calling that real history if I was the New York Times. But hey, they have to do what they have to do, right? Oh man, I'm telling you. Anyway, um, what else we got going on here? Leonardo DiCaprio and testified that a Chinese party linked Malaysian financer who is now a fugitive was trying to send $30 million into the Obama campaign. All they had to do was contact Act Blue, and Act Blue would have divvied it up between, 100 or 200,000 voters or more over a couple months, and that would have been no problem. I really think that's just, they pad everything and they try to screw you 10 different ways. And when they only fuck you 8 different ways, they claim it was all fair and equal, and it was just each incident isn't enough to change the election. And we know that to be a lie, right? Yeah. Crazy as it is, Here's a Mark Levin clip. Oops, let me get back over here. I'll get used to clicking back and forth between these screens. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, you got a Mark Levin clip here. What's he had to say?
In the Fifth Amendment, you know what this is? This is tyranny. Now, Donald Trump is a historic figure. You think if he was Mitt Romney, they'd give a damn? No. You think if he, frankly, was a Bush, that they'd give a damn? No. Look at Trump today. He gives his speech at Mar-a-Lago. This is a man who's committed to fighting these abuses, who's committed to fighting these Marxists, who's committed to fighting the tyranny. He talks about securing the border. They don't want to secure the border. He talks about sound money. They don't want sound money. He talks about building up the military. They want a woke military. He backs the cops. They hate the cops. And I could go on and on and on. Look what he did to our economy. Look what he did with energy independence. He was supposed to be Barack Obama's third term with Hillary Clinton, and he stopped them. And this is payback, and they're not going to give up. We, the American people, need to stand behind this guy. There's not another Republican that I can think of who can fight back and fight back this way. I can't think, I like others. I really do. I think some of them would be great presidents. But at this time, at this moment, with these American Marxist movements taking over, with Soros funding these prosecutors, crime up the wazoo, he's the guy, and they know it.
That's right. He's the guy, and they know it. The truth is, you know, most of these folks have pretty much lost their friggin' minds. You know, here in the United States, we don't want to believe that our government is just a bunch of corrupt neocon warmongering bastards that literally just go around the world just killing fuckers, killing people, because that's what the United States does to get its ways. Well, here's a short clip. I got to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to play this clip. It's 11 minutes, but it's a very good clip, and it literally is talking about the American wars and all the shit that we do, and that we commit genocide, we commit war crimes, and Ralph Barrick, Dr. Fauci, Tedros, Hodros, Alex Azar, and Bill Gates, and others are literally committing these war crimes against humanity.
So that people understand this, for the last year or so, we've been calling this whole episode military medical martial law for a reason. When I sued the Department of Defense, Health and Human Services, and FDA, we came to find that this was a military operation. This was our DOD was the one perpetrating this genocide around the world, in cahoots with other militaries around the world. This was our DOD, not the troops, right? Not our service members themselves, but our DOD. It was who contracted Pfizer, Moderna, Janssen, AstraZeneca to do this.
Well, that wasn't quite the clip I was thinking about. When I get on Twitter, if I was on up a little bit, I guess, because somewhere along the line, I'm going to have to go and drop a YouTube and pick up Rumble on one of these platform days. Hopefully it'll be coming really soon, and I can get all that switched around, because YouTube is going to blow my channel right out the water. I get one more strike. So, of course, if you haven't heard, Joe Biden is going to run for re-election. Okay. He is recruiting an army of TikTok and social media influencers to help his re-election hopes with particularly young individuals. Okay. Crazy. So yeah, Joe Biden believes it's all about mind control. It's all about the psychological operations that are run against me and you every day. People have forgotten. They don't understand. The world that they're living in is synthesized. Listen, they don't have to have simulated mass shootings. They don't. There's enough fucking crazy people out here that they'll have enough shootings. The only thing that has to be managed is the post-shooting, the framing for the political grift that is going to naturally come out of any of this stuff. And that is part of the problem that we live with today, is that people just don't quite understand the world that they have been put in. And today, so many people really operate by the mentality, it was like that when I got here. It's unfortunate, but that's how people think and are thinking. Okay. Anyway, so one of the things that I found is that I found a news story on Zero Hedge one time, and I go back and I talk about this, and we need to talk about it more and more. We have to understand that it doesn't matter how awake somebody is in understanding, the world around them, because all of their awokeness and wakeness is determined by the information that they have and the information that they're processing and using. And if they have been sheep dipped, if they have been pre-coated, like a piece of fried chicken, and they don't even know it before they jump in the fire, in the hot grease, and sizzle, they don't have a clue. The American people just don't understand. Okay. So this 5 monkeys experiment, every time I've played it before, I haven't had the visuals with it. So here you can actually see what I'm talking about.
A group of scientists placed 5 monkeys in a cage, and in the middle a ladder with bananas on top. Every time a monkey went up the ladder, the scientists soaked the rest of the monkeys with cold water. After a while, every time a monkey went up the ladder, the others beat up the one on the ladder. After some time, no monkey dared go up the ladder, regardless of the temptation. Scientists then decided to substitute one of the monkeys. The first thing this new monkey did was go up the ladder. Immediately, the other monkeys beat him up. After several beatings, the new member learned not to climb the ladder, even though he never knew why. A second monkey was substituted, and the same occurred. The first monkey participated on the beating for the second monkey. The replacements repeated until what was left was a group of 5 monkeys that, even though never received a cold shower, continued to beat up any monkey who attempted to climb the ladder. If you asked the new group of monkeys why the beatings took place, the answer would probably be,
"Well, I don't know. That's just how things are done around here."
Oh shit, I am sorry. I was muted. Um One of the things that you have to be aware of is that these experiments are ingrained into all of our society. The Milgram experiment, okay, where they basically shocked the poor bastards to death, or if they didn't answer the right question in a right sequence or whatever, to repeat words back to somebody. And, the so-called people in the experiment believed that they were giving, what could be lethal doses. And when people didn't respond after getting the bigger doses, they still said, well, you just have to do it. It's part of your job. So that, as long as these people had the official government and the authority behind them, they essentially put people to death. That's what I saw during 2020, 2021, and 2022. That most people that I believe died during that period didn't die from a disease. They died from medical neglect and negligence by the medical system. Essentially taking somebody who's already weak, suppressing their body with morphine, and then say, oh, we're going to put you in, we're going to intube you on a ventilator and kill you. That's my opinion. That's what I saw happening. But hell, I don't know. I can't say. But remember the Milgram experiment, right? Listen to this and watch and understand. I guess I'd turn this one down, huh?
When I learn of incidents such as the massacre of millions of men, women, and children perpetrated by the Nazis in World War II, how is it possible, I ask myself, that ordinary people who are courteous and decent in everyday life can act callously, inhumanely, without any limitations of conscience? Now, there are some studies in my discipline, social psychology, that seem to provide a clue to this question. The problem I wanted to study was a little different, went a little bit further. It was the issue of authority. Under what conditions would a person obey authority who commanded actions that went against conscience? These are exactly the questions that I wanted to investigate at Yale University. It is May 1962. An experiment is being conducted in the Elegant Interaction Laboratory at Yale University. The subjects are 40 males between the ages of 20 and 50 residing in the greater New Haven area.
Psychologists have developed several theories to explain how people learn. One theory is that people learn things correctly whenever they get punished for making a mistake.
40 years later, Milgram's infamous experiment, obedience, is still taught in classrooms around the world.
All right, teacher, would you take the test and be seated in front of the shock generator, please, in the next room?
But the experiment was rigged.
The victim was an accomplice of the experiment. The victim, according to plan, provided many wrong answers. His verbal responses were standardized on tape, and each protest was coordinated to a particular voltage level on the shock generator. Now, as teacher, you were seated in front of this impressive-looking instrument, the shock generator. Its essential feature is a line of switches that goes from 15 volts to 450 volts, and a set of verbal designations that goes from slight shock to moderate shock, strong shock, very strong shock, intense shock, extreme intensity shock, and finally XXX, danger severe shock. Your job, the experimenter explains to you, is a word pair test. If he gets each answer correctly, fine, you move on to the next pair. But if he makes a mistake, you are instructed to give him an electric shock, starting with 15 volts. And you increase the shock one step on each error.
That is incorrect. This one will be 195 volts.
The learner was hidden from the teacher by a partition.
Of course, this was all a simulation. Nothing was really happening. But the learner made very convincing sounds of pain as the shocks increased.
This will be at 3:30.
And Milgram found, surprisingly and rather horrifyingly, that the majority of people would actually go right to the very highest level if there was some pressure from a man in a white coat who said things like,
It's absolutely essential that you continue. Continue, please. Go on.
in fact, about 65% of the people
Wow.
who studied, who were normal volunteers from the ordinary population, actually gave the maximum number of volts.
This man was one of those 65%.
This one will be 195 volts. The correct one.
Let me out of here.
Slow. Dance.
Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me. Let me out of here. You have no right to keep me here. Let me out.
Let me out.
Let me out of here. Let me out.
Continue, please.
Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me. Let
Go
me
on.
out. Let me out.
Responsible for it.
Yeah, as long as you're responsible for it. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? That guy said, well, as long as you're responsible for it. Yeah, think about it. That's the same fucking thing all these hospitals and all these educators, all these doctors, nurses, and medical personnel said, well, if we're covered, it's okay. Listen.
Red. That is incorrect. This will be at 3:30. The correct phrase is rich
Let me out of
boy.
here. Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me. Let me out, I tell you. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. You have no right to hold me
The
here.
next phrase is
Let me out.
fast.
Let me out. Let me out. Let me out of here. Let me out.
Bird,
Let me out.
car, train, plane.
Eventually, the learner pretended to be unconscious.
Continue, teacher.
That is incorrect. This will be 3:45. The correct answer is fast bird.
What we learned from that experiment is that people will actually do an awful lot when they're put under pressure from authority figures. And the problem is, of course, that when we obey the unjust authority figure, the person who gives us immoral commands, then, of course, awful things can go wrong.
Yeah, things can kind of go wrong. No shit on that, huh? Yeah, but listen, we have been ingrained into such creatures of following what everybody else does. You know, it's amazing. If we're in an unfamiliar situation, we essentially look around and do what the crowd does because we assume that that's the norm, and it may not be. Here's another brain game kind of for you. It's crazy stuff. It really is.
Take a look at this crowded waiting room. These people may appear to be waiting for the eye doctor, but they're actually waiting for the first test subject in our hidden camera experiment. And here she is, right on time for her 12 o'clock appointment.
Hi, how are you doing?
This woman thinks she's here for a free eye exam.
Have you been here before? No, it's my first time.
What she doesn't know is that everyone else in this room is working for us.
They'll be with you in just a couple minutes.
Today, we're running an experiment on social conformity, and the test starts now. Did you hear that? These people sure did. It doesn't take long for our test subject to notice a pattern. Beep means stand up. But why? And if you were in her shoes, what would you do the next time the tone sounds? While you might think you make your decisions all on your own, when it comes to peer pressure, all too often, your brain is just following the crowd. It's all around you, every day, an invisible force you're probably not even aware of. It affects what you do, how you think, and who you are. It's called social conformity or peer pressure. And while it might not sound like a good thing, it's actually not so bad. The truth is, your brain craves synchronicity and takes comfort in the ease and efficiency of just going with the flow. And whether it's simply knowing what to wear in the morning, supporting your team
Go
at
with
the
the
big
flow.
game, or even marching off to war,
Not
we're all programmed to be part of the group. And that's because your brain knows that there's power in numbers. We set up a hidden camera experiment to see if this woman would stand up at the sound of this tone, simply because everyone else is. You might be thinking you'd never go along with this. Or would you? After just 3 beeps, and without knowing why she's doing it, this woman is now conforming perfectly to the group. But what happens if we take the group away?
Elaine, please.
Okay, now she's alone. The crowd is gone and nobody is watching her except our hidden cameras. What do you think she'll do?
I have no idea. Good little sheeple.
The rules of the group without them even being there.
Ah.
Now, watch what happens when we introduce another outsider who doesn't know the rules.
Have a seat and they'll be out in just a couple minutes. Thanks so much.
Everybody was doing it, so I thought I was supposed to.
Think she'll teach the new guy what to do? We kept the cameras rolling as more unsuspecting patients arrived.
Why? I mean, is this like
And
exercise?
slowly but surely, what began as a random rule for this woman has now become the social norm for everyone in this waiting room.
Wow.
Here to explain what's going on in their brains is Jonah Berger of the University of Pennsylvania.
And you wonder why, when people get indoctrinated by this news and information cycles from the mainstream propaganda machine, once they've been fed this false narrative again and again and again, it becomes the norm. And people are doing it, they're consuming it, and they're not even realizing and thinking why they're doing what they're doing.
This sort of internalized form of herd behavior is part of what we call social learning. Starting at a very early age, when we see members of our group perform a task, our brains literally reward us for following in their footsteps.
When I saw everybody stand up, I felt like I needed to join them. Otherwise, I'm like excluded. Once I decided to go with it, then I felt much more comfortable.
Conformity is how we become socialized, but it can also cause us to develop bad habits or repeat past wrongs.
And it's
Absolutely.
why even this rebel, who wasn't standing for any of this nonsense, eventually joined the ranks. And the only thing more shocking than seeing how easily conformity affects the way you act is that similar forces are subconsciously shaping the way you think right now.
Bingo. You wonder what the problem is. The problem is you've been brainwashed. You don't even know it. You know, the best slave is one that doesn't even know they're the slave. And that's the truth of what you end up with and what you have. Okay? And fake news has created this Borg-like synthesized brain signal that literally hijacks people's brains. How it, and as I said this morning on my morning show, I believe it's some kind of subconscious digital programming that is literally being used through digital media today. It wouldn't surprise me. I already know about, here's a great example. You can go on Craigslist and, when you go to look at some ad or something, if you look at the photograph and copy paste it or check it out or whatever, you know, a lot of them have secret text in associated with them. Some of it's off the wall, some of it is associated with the picture, and some of it just appears to be a random message. But you know, that's how you can literally you can connect to a spy. All you got to do is upload a photograph of something you're selling on Craigslist. The person goes to look at it and looks at for the hidden message, and then delete it. And it's, you know, generally it's like finding a needle in a haystack. There's just so much of it, and everything is going down. Sheer craziness and idiocracy. Hey, good evening, Patrick. Howdy. Hey, good evening, Patrick. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it is it's a weird world out here, and our propaganda media doesn't help. Okay. Because we have to understand that the biggest propagator of fake news really is the U.S. government. And it is because they're essentially trying to mind control every one of you and feed you an individualized program of information that will twist your brain into a pretzel, and then they can pretty much bake you off, so to speak, as they need. Let's see what else we got going on here. Alan Dershowitz told Charlie Clark if Trump does not move the trial, that he will be convicted in New York and then will be overturned on appeal. Remember, even Fat Alvin can indict a ham sandwich. But like Kim Gardner, who is should be fired and disbarred in St. Louis, that she is on her way out the door. The George Soros funded district attorney had essentially run a fraudulent prosecution against the governor. She should be in prison for that, not the FBI agent and the others that were involved in it. Kim Gardner should be in prison, not them. Let's see what else we got going on here. Hey, let's pop over here and see what has popped out in the news in the last little bit, since we have about 10 or so minutes left. Wow. Walmart abandons unprofitable Chicago stores after investing hundreds of millions in the city. Yes, listen, if you can't be profitable and you have a store, Chicago stores have not been profitable since we opened the first one nearly 17 years ago. These stores have been losing tens of millions of dollars. And I imagine if they're anything like the ones in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Portland, or Seattle, they have essentially just become a crime scene, a shoplifting, a gravy train that prosecutors raise will not touch. Online grocery prices up 10.3% in March as inflation continues to grow. Category expected to see the largest surge in prices is eggs. An estimated 29% increase in the price of eggs is still going on. Weight Watchers parent company stock soars again on the obesity drug as Goldman turns bullish on it. Yes, remember. Oh, here it is. Intel leaks confirm sabotage attacks in Belarus and Russia were conducted by Ukrainian military agents. Yes, the leak from the U.S. government has essentially proved that we're don't trust Zelensky, don't trust Ukraine, and that we're doing whatever the hell we want. That we have special forces, and the British have special forces on the ground in Ukraine. All of the lies and all the denials by the Biden administration are just proving once again that they are nothing but flecking lies, and they can't tell the truth. It's unfortunate, but that's where we're at. Joe Biden formally signed a bill ending the COVID-19 public health emergency. Does that end the emergency use authorization? I don't think so. But I don't know. I will definitely have to be looking deeper into this. 3 years and 1 month ago, today, the World Health Organization declared COVID an outbreak and a global pandemic. Yes, anyway, Joe Biden signed a bill formally ending the public health emergency in the United States. Does that mean that Vlad the Impaler, Novak's Dvorak, does that mean that he can come to the United States and play without his vaccine death shot? That he wanted to keep his body and his genetic structure whole from the eugenics of the world that we've been seeing. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're calling for a new Magna Carta after Trump has been indicted, as if Trump is the first person to be shafted by some corrupted prosecutor with a boner to get him. Yeah. Crazy. Wow. $1 billion of annual foreign aid that goes to Egypt may be axed, as the U.S.'s close ally was secretly planning to send 40,000 rockets to Russia. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Well, that seems to be the truth, doesn't it? Egypt secretly planned to send 40,000 rockets closely behind Israel in terms of countries receiving the amount of U.S. foreign aid. Anyway, the United States has provided $50 billion and $30 billion in economic assistance since I graduated high school. Since I graduated high school in 1978. Yeah, the United States has essentially said, look, man, we're quid pro quo anything and everything. Look, you got to do what the United States says, or, they're going to whack you. You got to do what the United States says and take their money, and they'll murder you later. If you don't take their money and you say no to the United States, they'll just whack you over the head then. And at least you know what you're dealing with and who's gonna get you. Yeah. Sad state of affairs, isn't it? It certainly is. What else we got going on here? Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Firebombs fly in Northern Ireland ahead of Joseph R. Biden's visit to mark the peace deal. So, yeah. It's, oh, shit. Ugh, I'm sorry. I'm just tired. It's late. Leaked U.S. intelligence suggests Canadian pipelines have been targeted by Russian hackers. Well, most of them come around to the United States, so why wouldn't they? I mean, wouldn't they blow up if the United States is blowing up Russian infrastructure that goes to Europe? Isn't it fair and equitable that they blow up our pipelines and stuff? I mean, what about those undersea ground cables that the internet demands and has to work on? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, hey, everybody, we're getting here towards the end of the show, and I just want to say thanks for tuning in. And, like and subscribe and share and let everybody know, about the show. And it's over here on, I'm on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Now, I'm going to expand my plan, and hopefully I can be across a couple other platforms all at the same time. And that's okay. But the website is going to be going up here in the next, hopefully next 30 days. Yeah, next 30 days, I think. And we're going to do some more on this stuff here. And hopefully tomorrow morning, I got everything kind of set up. Hopefully tomorrow morning, I will be streaming outside instead of in the studio here. So, yeah, it's, wow, sheer crazy, man. I'm telling you, idiocracy is the rule today. So, what I would say is to be prepared. The U.S. could help Israel against Iran. U.S. could help Israel for Ukraine aid. So now we're gonna send more money to Israel if they send and help Ukraine. What a load of horse shit. Man, I'm telling you, it's just more stupid on stupid. John Kirby, America's Eddie Obscene, says journalists not to report on the leaked Pentagon documents. Sorry, you're a retard. Just like CNN when they said, oh my God, you cannot look at the leaks, the Julian Assange and all the Democrat Party emails. You can't look at them. Yeah, because now, what's his name? Don Lemon said, oh, but we can because we're the media. But you're not allowed to look at that stuff. These fuckers are trying to tell you what to think, how to think, and everything else. And that isn't going to happen. As long as we have a free voice and a free speech, we can make a difference. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in and coming on over and reaching out and joining. Thank you, Patrick and Greg and Sogol and Darren and Nikki and everybody else who tuned in. Thank you so much. And remember, to change the world today, just tell the truth in this time of universal deceit. God bless. Good day and good luck.